13 said that would be interesting to get more information in my time machine to travel to the past. But most of our colleagues say, no, I'm much more in favor to see the future, what is going to happen in the future. So 24 say, and the others say, no, the present is already challenging and interesting enough. I think for the three groups, we have something to offer today, isn't it, Tamara?
Yes, exactly.
Good. Okay, so I think the colleagues know how to use the tool. That was just a tryout, how to properly use Mentimeter. And as we said in the expert discussions, in the Q&As, we're going to use this tool once again with a little bit more challenging questions. So that was a tryout. Good. So Tamara, anything else which we have to mention before handing over to our colleague Tamara Nikolic?
No, not from my side. Thank you.
Good. Then we have our second colleague, Tamara Nikolic. And Tamara was already putting up the theme of celebration. So we can be very proud of the very strong exchange, intensive dialogue, which took place over the last 10 years. And you're going to help us to explore a little bit also the past, the background of this program, discovering what is important right now, and then also to look a little bit into the future. Tamara.
Stefan, thank you very much for this nice introduction. Dear ladies, dear gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear friends, I would like to welcome you all on behalf of the Urban Partnership Program and on behalf of this collaboration with within the NALAS General Assembly. You know, this today is another online event that we have been organizing in the last 1 year, and I can imagine that like me, all of you would rather join us in some nice city, some nice conference room, rather than in the Zoom. But as we saw now by the Mentimeter, we want to see the future, and we want to see this happening sometime very soon. So today we gathered here in a short form of the City-to-City Dialogue. City-to-City Dialogues have been one of the marks of the Urban Partnership Program, and this today has been the 15th City-to-City Dialogue, which is marking the decade of the Urban Partnership Program, and where we wanted to share with you some of our more recent experiences. As most of you connected know, this program brought all of us together from 7 Southeastern European countries, from the countries beyond Southeast Europe, from the countries beyond Europe, where we managed to work together in the last 10 years on the issues to exchange between us and to discuss important topics to the local governments around the world. I will be brief in my introduction, and I just wanted to reflect a little bit on the past 10 years of the program. This program has been very, very close to me. It has been in my heart, as well as you know, the engagement with all of you, including all the networking, all the exchanges, all the programs and projects, but also the friendships that came out as a great added value from the program. So I just prepared a very short presentation that I will hopefully manage to share with you. Is it working?
Yes, we see that. Thank you.
Okay, great. So basically, we started in 2000.
Yes.
It's working. Okay. So we started in 2011 with the modest number of 10 cities which were engaged in municipal finance self-assessment. And our first event was, I remember, in Budapest. And in 2021, now we have over 120 cities and municipalities which are engaged in UPP. We have over 500 participants from these 7 countries. of the Southeast Europe, we have managed to establish a network of experts and to take part in over 500 events, which have been smaller events, on-job trainings, local events, national events, regional events, and international events. We have been, some of us like to say, not a group, not a network, but like an MFSA family, as our colleagues from North Macedonia like to point out. And it has been great joy and pleasure to take this path together with all of you and together with NALAS. So these are just some of the cities where we have been together, where we have worked together. I just want you to remember all of these city-to-city dialogues and all of these municipal finance self-assessment trainings that we have been working on in Skopje, in Budva, in Budapest, in Pristina, in Sarajevo, in Belgrade, in Zagreb, in Rijeka, and beyond. These are just some of the photos to remember how nice face-to-face gathering looks like, and that we hope in the future we will be there again with each other and learn from each other and exchange together. So what I also want to mention is that our partnership with NALAS has been very, very important over the past 10 years. NALAS is a unique regional association, and we are sure that NALAS can ensure sustainability and promote the values that we share. NALAS has been a key partner in the number of the initiatives that we undertook together, including the e-learning, including partnering during Mayor Symposium that have been the flagship of this program, the City-to-City Dialogues like this one, and the last one in 2019 in Skopje, summer schools, and most recently what we are planning and what we will now try to implement together with NALAS is provide sustainability for our online municipal finance self-assessment tool that some of you have already been working with. And last but not least, I would like to mention and to announce an interview with our colleague Catherine Farvak-Vitkovic, who most of you know very well. Catherine is a co-creator of Urban Partnership Program, and she has been our colleague at the World Bank for more than 30 years, working in different regions around the world. But I would say that the greatest pleasure for her was to work in the last 10 years in Southeast Europe and particularly in the Balkan countries. You have had an opportunity, some of you, to see the launch that we had in Skopje in 2019 of her most recent publication, Better Cities, Better World. We hope that you will, nevertheless, that it's online, but still enjoy the following interview that we have. So from now, I just wish you a good NALAS General Assembly and a good city-to-city dialogue in the next 2 hours. And we hope that from the Zoom, we will soon go back to our events and visiting our beautiful cities in the region and beyond. So thank you very much for being part of the program and hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much, Tamara. So we're going to see the video right now.
Today, we are honored to have here with us Ms. Catherine Farvak-Vitkovic, and therefore we wanted to discuss a bit with Catherine and hear from her what are her views on the past, but also what are some of the messages that she has for a future for everybody who would like to or are already using these tools. Can you tell us something about the path that you and this program went through, and maybe just to reflect on and compare the achievements of this program and the initial expectations that you had at the beginning.
Well, the path to between 2010 and 2021 was definitely a complex journey, and I like to call it actually the unlikely journey in many ways. In 2010, we found a context that was quite dire. Most countries of the region were just coming out of the 2008 financial crisis, and that crisis showed in many ways the vulnerability of municipalities in terms of local finance, their dependency on land-based revenues and on transfers. This set the tone for what was the realm of the possible in 2010. A second aspect also that contributed to this complex situation was the feeling of resentment and distrust that still existed among countries of the region after the raging civil war that took place in the Balkans. And that war was still felt, or the consequences of that war were still felt because it provoked or caused major fractures among the countries, and also a collapse of traditional forms of governance and the introduction or the rise of informal activities. So it's in this context that the Austrian government approached the bank, and their intention, or what they had in mind at the time, was the financing of a capacity building program for local governments in the region. So the very first task that we had was really to listen. Three key issues were emerging. One was the issue of finance, local finance. So land and city planning were a second core issue. And the third issue that came up also was the incredible need for investments at the local level in infrastructure and services. Additional topics were emerged and were added to the agenda. Related to governance, related to transparency, related to accountability. This became, part of a core issue of better city management at the local level. And the basic premise of the program was that it be truly a capacity building program.
So as you already maybe explained this connectivity, there is very much of importance of this connectivity between these tools and how they can be combined and used together, right?
Right. Yeah, that's an important point and an important question. So as you mentioned rightly, the MFSA was initially introduced. So it was introduced first. And from an initial number of about 10 municipalities engaged at the early stage of the process, it grew into a larger pool of municipalities. We have, I think over 90 municipalities, almost 100 municipalities of all sizes, including capital cities, medium-sized cities, small-sized cities, all size, are engaged currently across the region. So again, very briefly, to remind our listeners what the MFSA, for those who may not be totally familiar with it, to give a quick definition of both tools in order to stress, the importance of the synergy and the connection between them. So the MFSA is basically a tool that would help us assess the overall performance of the city finance. It outlines the key bottlenecks on revenues and expenditures, as well as on financial management practices. It assesses the creditworthiness of local governments, and it assesses also the financial capacity to invest. Okay, that's the link with the urban audit. So it's also provided, of course, a priority action plan, short and medium term, to improve the financial health, the management practices, and the local government funding capacity. It is even more powerful when it is linked to an urban audit. So the urban audit, as you mentioned, was introduced later in the process. What the urban audit does is it assesses the current urbanization trends. It assesses the existing levels of infrastructure and services. It locates and quantifies the gap. It outlines the key components of capital and maintenance programs. It provides the foundation for implementation, both at the city level and at the neighborhood level, of investment programs. So this is why it's such an important tool. When they are combined, the MFSA and the UA makes a lot of sense. Why? Because first, there are a number of benefits that are created by the immediate connection between various departments who typically or traditionally don't talk to each other or don't communicate. Second, there is a level of comprehensiveness and a level of greater understanding of the local situation, of the local challenges, of the local opportunities, which arise when you do simultaneously an MFSA and urban audit. You know, the complexity and the comprehensiveness of your understanding is greater, of course. And thirdly, the connection between the two makes it also possible to match the investment program with the financial capacity or absorptive capacity of the local government.
And maybe you can just give us some overview how these tools can be used and how they actually were used in this time of crisis to help local governments.
So COVID has really put a dent in the financial, economic, and social, fabric of our cities, because the MFSA includes this component, this very important component of projections, which is often not done regularly by municipalities. You have an opportunity to have, as I said earlier, more visibility on the future. So four indicators that I want to raise at our regional level. Current revenues have decreased between 15 to 25%. Capital revenues have decreased on the average between 5 to 15%. Operating expenditures have decreased between 13 to 20%. Capital expenditures, the investment side, have decreased between 7 to 15%. And this is for the past year. So we are looking at now the next projections with an impact even greater than this. COVID, in a sense, is forcing us to rethink real estate issues, mobility issues, connectivity issues, space and location issues, density issues, all these themes that are very much related to, again, the type of information that you can get from an urban audit.
What will be your message to the new ones who would like to use this MFSA online course that was developed under the program?
First of all, I'm very tired of being online. However, I think that this has had a positive impact because in many ways it has showed us how our resilience, it has showed us how we are able to do business or to work differently. So today, let's take the example of the MFSA. Today, any users from any municipality will be able to access and use the tool, and they can tap on a community of local governments currently engaged in local government self-assessment. It's really nice to be able to exchange. They will have access also to a pool of national experts, who have been trained and who have been doing this for a long time now. And so my message, to answer your question, my message to the fresh starters is twofold. One, do not get discouraged because you have a support system. And two, the initial effort is well worth because what you will get out of the process is very worth it.
Final message that you would like to convey to NALAS and to everybody who is actually today we are in the NALAS event also as a co-organizers and co-hosts.
What I would like to say about the collaboration with NALAS is that NALAS is a very unique organization. There are not that many NALASes in the world, so there are very few regional associations of that nature in the world. So because it is unique and because it also encompasses a very broad and very diverse group of countries and group of cities, each of them having their own set of issues, own set of challenges, own set of opportunities, NALAS mission is quite complex. It's a complex and complicated business. I would say that what gives NALAS its raison d'être, its legitimacy, its relevance, really grounded on fulfilling three key roles. First key role is being a repository of knowledge and of data at the regional level. The second is acting as a facilitator, an incubator of innovations. And the third is being a catalyst for training. concrete, very operational, hands-on training for local staff and local officials. And we developed a very strong working relationship. So I'm very pleased to see that NALAS is going to take on the mission of both scaling up and sustaining the good initiatives of this program.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for this wonderful interview. And of course, as the main, let's say, word, there will be a sustainability, of course, with the NALAS and all the things that UPP actually created and also incorporated into the region and created together with some institutions and local governments. It was very nice to see this interview with Catherine, Stefan. I like it.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think there we had already information from the past, what was happening. So we were inquiring the status quo, and we were talking about the future, also NALA's role envisaged in that. And I don't know, Tamara, would you like to take it onward to hand over to Elton?
Yeah, well, of course, sorry, I just wanted to express my my reaction to the interview, but of course I can just announce our dear colleague from NALAS, Mr. Elton Staffa, and he will talk about regional decentralization and the NALAS, of course, role in it, right? NALAS Observatory, sorry.
Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, Stefan. It will be a pleasure for me to present very briefly the NALAS Regional Decentralization Observatory that we have been working on over the past year. Just please let me share the screen. So you can see the screen now, right? Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is our observatory. So the NALAS Regional Decentralization Observatory, that is whose main aim is basically to facilitate the visualization of complex data, so that it can help policymaking. Is the second main aim is to facilitate regional comparisons that can lead also to let's say positive peer pressure in improving policies, but also, of course, also to inform policies. And lastly, the main aim is also to serve as a knowledge hub, so as a knowledge repository, as Catherine mentioned it also in her interview. And we are very happy to share it with you. We've been working on this for about a year, together with the KDZ Center for Public Administration Research. This is the result. I mean, very briefly, if you allow me, I'll go through the website. You can visualize 3 types of data here. So you can monitor the progress of decentralization in Southeast Europe according to the NALAS Regional Decentralization Index data. You can monitor the progress of local government finance indicators according to the NALAS, to the established NALAS Fiscal Decentralization Report. And you can also monitor the progress in terms of waste management in Southeast Europe, based on the data that are collected by the NALAS report on solid waste management benchmarking. So overall, the idea is that we can access data and we can make visualizations out of this. I have prepared some of these visualizations that I would like to share with you. You can access the visualizations from this panel here or this panel here. There are national or regional indicators. And I'm going to show you the first. So maybe very briefly, this is the overall score of the Regional Decentralization Observatory Index data. So it shows basically the progress, the average progress of Southeast Europe in terms of decentralization. We measure it from the perspective of local autonomy, quality of local services, citizen participation and local government responsiveness, and also intergovernmental dialogue. There are many navigation tabs here. Users can dive into the details of each of these dimensions. The second type of visualization, as I mentioned, is local government finance indicators. And here you can the users can access immediately regional comparisons or national visualizations. So let's see here, for example, we have chosen Bulgaria. But the users can change the country here. They can also change the year for which they would like to visualize data. And they can also look at the data from the different perspectives. So now we're looking at the current status, so the main indicators for local government finance in Bulgaria. So the three main indicators, this shows the evolution over time. This shows the composition of revenues and expenditures, and where is possible also the composition of expenditures according to the functional allocation. And users can make their own selections about the indicators, the units of measure, and everything. On the regional level comparison, maybe I'll just briefly show you, for example, this type of visualization shows the progress of local government revenues in Southeast Europe as percent of total public revenues. It shows the evolution at the national level, but from a regional perspective, from 2006 to 2019. And users can also select here the type of indicators and also the unit of measures, as I mentioned. But the NALAS observatory, it aims also to serve as a knowledge hub, as we mentioned. So here we have a set of publications that are dedicated to local government and local government finance. But in the upcoming months, we will add also new information about the legal framework for local governance in Southeast Europe. So the opportunity to access the detailed legislation regulating local government finance, for example, in Albania, in Bulgaria, in Serbia, and all the economies of Southeast Europe. And we will also introduce here good practices adopted by local governments in several areas. The other very important component of the observatory is that it will provide an opportunity for users also to make self-assessments. Now, with the cooperation of the UPP, UPP has developed the municipal finance self-assessment tool, which many of you know, I'm pretty sure, and which we will discuss in more detail later on. Going forward, the online municipal finance self-assessment tool will be anchored also here at the online observatory, and participants can come and join and also make their own self-assessment. In the future, we will add here also the opportunity to make a self-assessment according to the NALAS RDO index. So overall, it is a platform that enables us to make visualizations of complex data I hope, in a user-friendly way. It provides us an opportunity to make regional comparisons and also access very important, relevant information, updated information from the region. So we really think this is going to be very helpful in terms of improving policies and then improving the quality of local services. As I mentioned, the observatory was developed together with the KDZ Center for Public Administration Reform Research, and it is supported by the Austrian Association of Cities and Towns and also the Austrian Development Corporation. This is very briefly from my side. You can see the link is nalasobservatory.eu. I'll share it also on the chat. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Elton, for sharing that. If you could copy the link into our chat, I think all the participants are very keen to have a look at it. Very interesting approach in terms of visualizing and providing evidence for policy making. Thank you very much. So you mentioned the MFSA as one important tool, and in the next session we're going to explore again the MFSA and the urban orbit audit in more detail, and I hand over to our next speakers and experts.
Thank you, Stefan. Just shortly to introduce our colleague, Marian Nikolov. He's a World Bank consultant working for a long time, for the whole time actually of the UPP program with the MFSA and the urban audit. Mr. Nikolov will moderate the session with his colleagues from the local self-governments. They will be talking about MFSA and capital investments planning. Then they will talk about urban audit experiences in Northern Macedonia, and at the end they will speak about COVID impact on the local self-governments. Welcome, Marian, and welcome to your colleagues, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Tamara. I was listening very careful to Elton's presentation, and to the interview brings back memories, the interview with Katrin. Those two, as the question in the beginning was, the past and the future, and do we have enough from the present? You see, I'm looking for a nice transition. You see, all that we have done in all these 10 years, it doesn't stop here. So there is a future. And the future is that people are going to work with these tools. People are working with these tools. So the purpose of this session is to present how one can work in future and how one can use these tools in future. But also I'm very happy that Nalas took over the baby caring of the MFSA for the benefit of all of us in this group, but not only. I'm looking forward for this to scale up in a larger scale. You see, 10 years is like a marriage. So we have passed through the crisis of the stereotype of the 7 years crisis of marriage. So we are 10 years ahead. And again, I want to stress, and it is not enough to stress it twice, 3 times. This is not the end. Please, people, you have all these tools. You have the experience for more than 10 years. You have Nalas to use it as an instrument to continue to work with these tools, all for the benefit of the citizens that you are supposed to serve as a municipality, as mayors or administrative staff. Having said that, there are 3 short sessions that we want to present 2 things. First, integration of different tools that were designed and developed and used throughout the UPP. MFSA, capital investment planning, and urban audit. Second, how we can use these tools in a concrete examples, and how we can generate additional financial sources, additional financial resources to complete our planning for better services. So I would like to invite now for them to prepare Ms. Božena Šljivar from Banja Luka, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Ms. Marina Jandreska from the municipality of Kiselvoda. The format of this session is through questions and answers to make tangible to all of you how these tools can be used. Maybe the wording is not that harsh to say, in an alternative way. So I would like to start with Ms. Šljivar. So please, what I've learned for Banja Luka is that you wanted to keep the investment level, and you were interested to issue a municipality bonds. So in a nutshell, to generate additional financial resources, so that you can finance ambitious investment plan, all for the benefit of the citizens. But then again, you as administration, you have a challenge. And the challenge is how to connect a capital investment plan and the planning with the financial part of the municipal finances. So I suppose having Banja Luka on board with the MFSA for a long time, that probably you have used the MFSA capacity in order to look at the capital investment planning of the city of Banja Luka. If you can reflect in like 5 minutes your experiences and what would you like to share with your colleagues around. Thank you.
Dobar dan svima. Da li me čujete?
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hello,
Yes, we can hear you.
Dobro.
Yes, we can hear you, Ms. Viller.
Evo, ja ću pokušati da odgovorim
I will try
na pitanja koje je
to
gospodin Nikolov
answer
postavio.
the questions which Mr. Nikolov asked.
Dakle, zaista, znači naše iskustva kada je u pitanju plan
Our experiences regarding the planning of finances
znači kada je u pitanju budžetiranje
and budgeting
investicija
and the planning of capital investments
je dosta pozitivno,
is very positive,
mada imamo određenih poteškoća.
although we've had some difficulties.
Prije svega, znači Banja Luka priprema treći trogodišnji plan.
Banja Luka is preparing her third triennial plan for capital financing.
Iako nismo zakonski obavezni na tako nešto.
Although we are not legally obliged to do something like that.
Naime, naš zakon o strateškom planiranju i upravljanjem
Our law on strategic planning, you can talk continually because we have translators.
Dobro.
And you can speak freely and not take any breaks. Thank you.
Dakle, naš strateško planiranje i upravljanje razvojem tek je u fazi nacrta.
Our law for strategic financing is in the drafting phase.
Međutim, tokom krize smo shvatili
But during the crisis,
strateških dokumenata izuzetno važno.
We understood that the production of strategic documents is extremely important.
Radili smo znači i na određenim revizijama plana kapitalnih ulaganja.
Did an audit of our plan for capital investments.
Ali se pokazalo da nam je
But it turned out
između budžeta
that
i plana kapitalnih ulaganja.
difficult to link the budget and the plan for capital investments.
I mislimo da je problem naš interni.
I think that this is an internal problem that we have.
U razumijevanju tih procesa.
To understand these processes.
I u značaju znači tih dokumenata.
And about the significance of those documents.
Mi koristimo MFSA, znači tool.
We are using the MFSA tool.
U smislu kao osnovu za pravljenje plana
as a basis for production of the plan for capital investments.
MFSA tool nam pomaže da napravimo na bazi budućih prihoda.
Helps us to project our future revenues.
I da vidimo znači kako se to uklapa
and to see how that fits into our capital investment plan.
Što se tiče plana kapitalnih ulaganja.
Regarding the capital investment plan
i njegovog donošenja.
And its adoption.
To je standardizovani postupak.
That's a standardized procedure and a very structured one.
Od formiranja posebnog tima preko javnog poziva.
By establishing a team and a public call.
Do izbora projekata kroz određeni sistem
and the selection of projects through a scoring system.
I na kraju znači identifikacija izvora financiranja.
And it ends with the identification of financing sources.
Do usvajanja plana na skupštini grada.
And the plan finally gets adopted at the city assembly.
U pitanjima koje nam je gospodin Nikolov dostavio prije
regarding the questions that Mr. Nikolov sent us prior to this session.
Bilo je pitanje registra imovine.
There were questions related to an asset registry.
Mislim da nam je otvorio jednu
I think that he opened a new perspective for us and a new type of thinking.
Znači mi imamo elektronski registar nepokretnosti.
We have an electronic real estate registry. Ms. Šljivar, please speak continually. We can hear you.
Imamo i također elektronsku knjigu evidencije.
We also have an electronic record book of assets.
I obavezna je po zakonu.
And it's obligatory to keep it by law.
Dok nam je ovaj elektronski registar nepokretnosti naša ideja, nije znači...
While this electronic registry of real estate is our idea and it's not obligatory by law.
Veliki nedostatak je to što nemamo procijenjenu vrijednost naše imovine, samo imamo
knjigovodstvo. It's a shortcoming that we don't have a real assessment of the value of our assets and we only have a book value.
Ne popunjavamo sve podatke koje ovi registri...
We do not fill in all the information that these registries require.
I ovi registri se više koriste u
and these registries are used for performing censuses and identification of the real estate and less for planning.
Pogotovo za plan kapitalnih ulaganja.
And especially for the capital investment plan.
Kada su u pitanju instrumenti finansiranja za plan kapitalnih ulaganja.
Regarding the financing instruments for the capital investment plan,
mislim da nam je to najkomplikovaniji dio planiranja kapitalnih.
The most complicated part of the planning of capital investments.
Definitivno je da mi nemamo dovoljno financijskih sredstava.
We definitely don't have enough funds for all capital projects.
I mora da postoji bliska saradnja između tima za plan kapitalnih ulaganja i
a close cooperation between the Department for Capital Planning and the Financial Department.
Ni naša kapitalni budžet nije dovoljan.
And our capital budget is insufficient.
Nemamo dovoljno sredstava ni od prodaje imovine ni od naknada za uređenje
sufficient funds from the sales of assets and for fees for land development.
I svake godine sve više našeg plana
and each year the majority of our capital investment plan is financed from external means.
Znači i tu nam imamo znači nekoliko izvora eksternih.
We have several external sources for financing.
Prvo znači tu su za velike infrastrukturne projekte.
For large infrastructural projects such as waterworks or wastewater, we use international financing institutions.
Trenutno imamo odličnu saradnju.
Currently we have excellent cooperation with EBRD.
Koji je otprilike negdje oko 12 miliona eura trenutno su naši krediti prema EBRD-u.
And our current state of loans with EBRD is 12 million euros.
Ali također smo znači
but we also use the issue of municipal bonds. Ms. Shiver, can you conclude?
Znači 3 puta smo koristili.
We've used municipal bonds 3 times.
Ali je to znači uglavnom usmjereno ka lokalnom tržištu.
But that was mostly directed to the local market.
I na kraju najvećim dijelom te obveznice su ili banke ili
the majority of those bonds were bought by banks and insurance companies.
Dakle, potrebno nam je još uvijek malo više iskustva.
So we need more experience to connect the plan for capital investments and the MFSA.
Da uvjerimo znači rukovodstvo grada o značaju ta dva da tako
kažem. The city management is aware of the significance of these two instruments.
Okay, hvala puno. Znači, gospođa Šljivar je onako kako je završila, potrebno je i dalje. Znači,
very much.
Ove kapacitete administracije za planirati financije i u smislu kapitalnih investicija, to je jedna slaba tačka.
Regarding that is a weak point.
Pa ja bih zamolio gospođu Marinu Jandrevsku
Miss Marina Jandrevska Kisela.
Ona je pokušala. She tried. I will switch to English. She tried to mix and to work together. So, given the time, Marina, can you squeeze out in like 2-3 minutes? What is your message to your colleagues from other municipalities in relation to how to connect the public finances of one municipality with the capital investment planning for the purpose of improving services to citizens? Thanks a lot.
Dobar den na sите. Da, opština Kisela Voda.
Welcome everybody.
municipality of Kisela Voda started to prepare the capital investment plan for the municipality, and how we have applied this document. Capital municipal planning is a process that requires very detailed analysis, which we are getting from the background analysis of the MFCA tool. We get information about the analyzed revenues and the expenditures for the past 5 years for the programs. The capital budget of the municipality is an integral part of the strategy for economic development. And one deficiency in our strategy is that when preparing our strategy, we have specified the amounts for each capital projects for upcoming years, but what is not stipulated are the sources of financing. Marina, please, concretely, connection between MFSA and capital investment planning, because we don't have enough time. So what is your message in 2-3 minutes? Because you're talking with colleagues that already know how the budgets are prepared. So just please, specifically 2 to 3 minutes, specifically what is the link? So specifically, when the development of the municipality's plan, we take into account the annual program for arrangement of construction land. What does this mean? The cost that the municipality needs to build infrastructure in our municipality cannot be split into the urban part and rural part. What does this mean? It is good when the municipality would like to implement the capital urban plan to first do an analysis. Which costs will the municipality incur in order to implement this communal infrastructure? How much revenues they will earn from the fee for arrangement of construction land in the future, and what would be the amount of tax that it will generate from natural persons and legal entities, because what frequently happens is that the municipality doesn't invest in the enactment of a detailed urban plan because it is not financially feasible. They will not have the benefit for the municipality. So we have to see whether we can finance the rural areas from the revenues earned from the urban plan, from the urban part. If we do not have our own sufficient financing from our own, we are going to look at the general framework, and we will see how the municipality is working, what's the operational margin, and how much funding would the municipality need to implement these capital projects. Then the municipality should ask for the central government to transfer funds for certain projects, or maybe the municipality will take on donations, grants, or loans from the World Bank. This is how we do our planning. So another thing that our municipality is missing, we know that in our country, the natural and persons can initiate the preparation of detailed plan. It would be good for the municipality to know how much money the municipality is spending on preparing these plans and how much do citizens contribute to this. The municipality updates its registry, where the municipality has its property titles. In this register, we cannot include the fixed assets for which we do not have a property title, but realistically we own them, and it would be good for them to be subject of legalization in the register so that they can get included in the register. Some of these old properties are in the process of being legalized and becoming our rightful property. And also, when planning capital investments, it is good to determine the priorities of the capital projects. It is good to have a good cooperation from the financial department and the communal, the utility department of the municipality, so that we can see whether certain investments it would be better to build a completely new building where the municipality would invest a lot of money from the beginning, but we would know that for the next so many years, the cost of maintenance would be minimized, or whether it is better to continue pouring money in maintaining the old building or facility. These are things that require a lot of time and a lot of human capital. Thank you, Marina.
Is very important because it brings us back to the point of long-term planning. You see, there is always this dilemma. You have an more or less depreciated asset and all the costs that are attached to the asset related to the repairments or refurbishments. But then on the other hand, you have the cost of procuring a new asset. Now, planning and making a nice analysis and calculation of this is not that easy. But please remember, as I say always, MFSA Pro is the tool where you can practically calculate all these calculations that are going to help you to make, to help the decision makers, which is the mayor or any group, working group that you have related to capital investment planning, in order to make a decision, are you going to operate with obsolete or more or less depreciated asset, or are you going to opt for procuring a new asset? Now that brings us to the second point, and the point is how you make that wish list that Marina was talking about, prioritizing the capital investments. You see, you have citizens' needs, then you have projects to satisfy citizens' needs, and then you have program where you have a number of projects, and then you have an overall document that you call it strategy, you call it economic growth, sustainable growth, or whatsoever. In UPP, if you remember, we had one similar document, and it was urban audit. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Krste Micalevski from the municipality of Resen of North Macedonia. Please, Krste, prepare yourself. It's your turn. Why is this important? This is important because we use urban audit in Macedonia so that the municipalities can apply for grants from on lending from the World Bank throughout the Ministry of Finance. We can see Mr. Krste Micalevski. Krste had the opportunity to bring some money to the municipality in order to address some of the needs of the municipality, and he was actively engaged in the preparation of the urban audit. So, Krste, in like 3 to 4 minutes, please. There are a couple of questions, like for example, you are not addressing me, you are addressing your colleagues. So please, what are the advantages of using the urban audit? How you manage to engage citizens to participate? What were the challenges in the implementation of the urban audit? And what do you recommend your colleagues if they would like to use the urban audit, how they can prepare better for a more efficient urban audit? Krste, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marian. Thank you for the good words. I will try not more than 5 minutes to answer your question, very direct and very, very short. About what is urban audit? Urban audit analysis covers demographical, social, economic, environmental, and cultural development of a municipality to enable assessment of the quality of life across the municipal settlements. The main purpose of the urban audit is to provide necessary input information for the future regional and urban planning, for the future municipal infrastructure, prosperity, and sustainable development of the municipality. My municipality, municipality of Resen, has around 60,000 inhabitants in the town of Resen and 43 other small rural settlements. The urban audit showed that some of the rural settlements had problems with inadequate communal infrastructure. The most important thing in preparing the urban audit are finding accurate statistical information about all aspects of the municipality. But the crucial input is the direct involvement of the local community. During the preparation urban audit in my municipality and in 2019, all the settlements of the municipality of Resen were separately visited by the municipal officials. With the local population were discussed topics about all aspects of the quality of life and the quality of the provided municipal services. From every official meeting with the locals, a standardized questionnaire was prepared, and later in the analytical process, this information gained from the locals was critical input data. So when we finished the process of collecting the information, statistical information, and cross-checking those statistical information with on spot with the inhabitants, there was a settlement that had problems with the communal infrastructure. According to the analysis, a rank list of priority projects was development, and during the analysis, we as a municipality, we discovered that 2 villages had a positive birth rate but inadequate condition in primary schools. Following with the data from the urban audit and with the appropriate project application, we requested funds from Ministry of Finance. The project was approved for financing, and nowadays the 2 villages that was detected with the urban audit has practically new reconstructed buildings, primary schools, as a result of a successfully prepared urban audit. The main challenge for me, for my team, for my municipality during the preparation of urban audit analysis was finding accurate statistical information about all aspects of the municipality and cross-check those information with on-spot visit with the local inhabitants. Because the more accurate information we have, the more accurate analysis will be, and as a municipality, we are going to have the more clear picture what are the needs of the inhabitants. Very shortly, having in mind our experience as a municipality, I strongly recommend the municipalities from Western Balkans to start implementing urban audit as a tool, and not just once, but to repeat the same analytical process in the periodical cycles of 2 or 3 years in order to gain relevant information for the future planning and development of the municipality. There are 3 crucial factors for a successful urban audit analysis. Number 1, there must to be a dedicated professional team from the municipality. Number 2, finding relevant statistical information about all aspects of the municipal services and cross-checks those information with the direct involvement of the local population. The crucial factor is direct involvement of the local population. And number 3, repeating this analytical process periodically every 2 to 3 years in order to have the continuity in the planning and in the planning process for the improving the municipal services and improving the life of the citizens. Marian, very shortly, as I could, if you have any other question, I can answer, or in every interested party, you can find my contact details on the website of the municipality of Resen, and I can explain in more details and share our experience as a municipality.
Thank you very much, Krste. Thank you. Please, all of you, dear colleagues, Krste, if you can write down your email, you can write down your email on the chat so that everyone can reach you, those that are interested. Please, dear colleagues, you can ask for among yourselves to share your experiences about the tools that UPP has developed, and the municipalities are using them with the purpose, and they have achieved the goals and the purpose. Municipality of Resen is just one of the success stories. Thank you very much, Krista, again. I would like for the next session related to the use of the MFSA, how we can use in times of crisis the MFSA. Please, Ms. Rajka Tomovic from Municipality of Mojkovac, Ms. Srčana Milicevic from City of Budva, Mr. Dejan Vujic from Banja Luka, and Ms. Blerta Mjeda from Municipality of Škodre to prepare themselves. Dear colleagues, this session, the point of this session is to present that MFSA can be used, and it's very flexible for many purposes. Concretely, for the in times of crisis, it can be used for a rapid analysis of the impact of the shock from the crisis on municipal finances. MFSA was used in a number of dozen of municipalities in different countries. These are just one set of municipalities that have used the MFSA successfully in rapidly assessing the COVID-19 impact on their finances. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions for each of them. For example, let me just give you just a short background for Mojkovac. So Mojkovac, the municipality of Mojkovac is in the northern part of Montenegro, and it shows a strong reliance on shared revenues and transfers from the state, meaning that they are dependent on the central government. Now, the shock is symmetrical to the central government and to the local government. The point here is how municipality of Mojkovac that had in 2020 some 13 to 80% estimated downsizing of their revenues, how they are surviving comparing to the conditionally set more rich coastal municipalities. So please, Ms. Rajka Tomovic, if you can just please in few sentences, can you please tell us what was the impact of COVID-19? Do you recommend MFSA to your colleagues to do such rapid assessment? Was it useful? And what is your main message to your colleagues that have similar municipalities like yours? Thank you.
Ms. Rajka, you're muted. Please unmute yourself. Okay. Dobar dan svima. Ja ću ukratko
Good afternoon, everyone. I would briefly try to present the municipality of Mojkovac and our response to the pandemic. I'll also present the way in which we used the MFSA tables. As you said, the municipality of Mojkovac belongs to the northern region, has approximately 10,000 inhabitants and an annual budget of 3 million euros, which means that we are probably not best suited to give a good response to the pandemic in comparison to the larger municipalities. And our budget receives transfers from the central government. Approximately 70% of our budget consists of transfers and allotted expenses. So if we are talking about our rebalanced budget for 2020, we had the same amount of revenues. But if we look at the structure of the revenues, we see big moves, and they were not influenced just by the pandemics, but also the legal changes. The legal changes manifested themselves in 2020. In 2019, the law on financing of the local self-government was changed, so we received a bigger portion of the income tax, which was very significant to us. But other legal changes decreased our own revenues from local communal tax. So even without the pandemic, we lost a certain level of our own revenues. As for the measures which were taken by the municipality of Mojkovac in order to respond to the pandemics, they were deferring taxes, and those were the measures that the local self-government can offer to its citizens in order to relieve the financial and social stress of the citizens. But the municipality had problems how to help the economy and how to obtain revenues which are necessary for servicing its budgetary users. We'll see in the forthcoming period whether we've succeeded in that. Our budget in 2020 was realized as if we didn't even feel the pandemic. Using the deferred income from the central level, we behaved responsibly. We are disciplined in employment. We decreased our representation and travel expenses. We decreased our capital investment. Can you please tell us what came out of the use of the MFSA for your municipality?
What recommendations came out from the MFSA? Just shortly, please.
One nam daju jedan kratak pregled.
They gave us a brief overview of the movement of our revenues, and they give us the things which we need to pay attention to. They give us an overview of our finances and expenses, and we can see what we need to decrease in order to respond to the pandemic. In such crisis situations such as the pandemic, we need to have both education and MFSA and advice from professionals about the pandemic. We need to start a structured approach, and even when responding to the pandemic, we need to use public resources efficiently.
I would like to invite Ms. Milicevic from the city of Budva. Now, the city of Budva was direly affected with some 20 to 27%, depending on the scenario.
Dobar dan.
Depending on the scenario developed with the MFSA on decreasing of current revenues, but they are considered a rich municipality. At the end of the day, they are coastal municipality. So, please, Ms. Milicevic, can you tell us what exactly did MFSA helped you, and what measures came out as a recommendation by analyzing the output tables from the MFSA? Thank you.
Dobar dan svima, ja sam Srđana Miličević, radim u opštini Budva.
Hello to everyone, I'm Srđana Miličević, I work in the municipality of Budva. As we don't have enough time to the problem last year, the municipality of Budva, in cooperation with a local expert, we were using the MFSI tool. We were working the optimistic and pessimistic variant. All what we have done, we used for the balance. So, municipality of Budva, in the first year of the pandemic, the help of the citizens in the government. We have finished it positively. We become aware that we have developed a strategy in a situation like this of crisis and pandemic. We have to find precisely this crisis showed us this: the local self-government have to work and through changes of law changes like reduction of taxes with the amendment of provisions. We need to the central level of the government have to work with the financial help of municipalities and but the recovery of the finances of municipality of Budva will depend on the success of tourist season. Almost 60% of the entire revenues comes from municipality of Enda. I would like to say budget for 2020 period 2019 is used for 13 millions or 32% less. Thank you.
Marian, you're muted. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dejan Vujic. It's your turn. Same question. I mean, what came out of the MFSA analysis and COVID-19 impact on municipal finances of Banja Luka? Thank you.
Dejane, mikrofon uključi.
My name is Dejan Vujic. Financial Department of the Municipality of Banja Luka. Last year, we have made 3 scenarios using the MFSI and help of World Bank. We have made this a general scenario, optimistic and pessimistic scenario. I have to say that the city of Banja, the base of these scenarios go in the direction of substitution of revenues. Our predictions were that our revenues will fight for 50,000 euros. We have decided here in Republic of Srpska and in our surrounding, we have decided to maintain the level of capital investments from the one that we have from the beginning. At the beginning of the crisis, we kept around 18 millions of capital investments. I'd like to apologize because I can hear him very poorly.
Dejan, what did you finance with the Muni bonds?
With the bonds, we have invested the capital investments. We have built kindergartens. Then we bridge of Sava. We have investment, a sport facility.
So it's interesting because you choose as a municipality the strategy of not cutting the capital investments, but rather to keep the capital investments and to use the opportunity of a good crisis.
Correct. We have used. There is difference with the strategies of other cities, how they use the capital investments. have analyzed the quotient of MSI or ratio analysis regarding the entire revenues. In that percentage in 2019, it was 19%.
Thank you very much. The last question for you.
Thank you. The last.
Would you say that you have made the right decision, the right strategy?
Jasno, da, mi jasno za sada, znači vjerujemo da smo.
Yes, we believe that what we have done was correct. Maybe in the following period, maybe we will have a real interest, but in the budget for 2021, we have go with rationalization or mainstreaming of the costs. We have additional debt that we will have to close.
Last but not least, please, municipality of Shkodër. I have information that Ms. Blerta Mieda might have some problems. Merita, are you going to take over? Municipality of Shkodër, do we have them online?
Berta lost her connection again, so I'm checking if Merita can take over.
Hello, Marian, can you hear me?
Yes, Merita, is that you?
Yes, it's me.
Okay, welcome.
I can,
yes, we all have the information that municipality of Shkodër have some internet problems. Merita, now you were the local expert that worked with the MFSA and the COVID-19, and we are really running out of time now. Please, can you squeeze out in like two minutes, really max 3 minutes? What was the particularity of municipality of Shkodër in terms of findings from the MFSA analysis? And would be, what did MFSA brought to you as a local expert in terms of improving the fiscal decentralization in Albania? So we want to see the strength of the MFSA. What would you pass to our colleagues?
Thank you, Marian. Actually, the municipality of Shkodër is one of the first municipalities that have joined the MFSA before 2015 and rejoined the project in 2020. Now we use the exercise from the MFSA to assess the impact of COVID-19 in municipal finances and conduct a scenario analysis for the municipality of Shkodër. It's very particular municipality of Shkodër because for several reasons. It's a big municipality, it's a very important municipality for Albania in terms of both population and contribution to our economy, and also from a political point of view, because we are operating in a context where the municipality of Shkodër is the only opposition municipality, let's say, in the country. What we found out was that obviously the net margin of the municipality was a decline in all scenarios we had provided from 10 to 20%. And then we used this case study to extend our findings to general findings for local financial management in Albania. Since 2020 was a difficult year, not only for Albania, but for all countries, some recommendations were provided, especially with regard to fiscal decentralization in the case of Albania. If we see local governance as a general thing here in Albania, we need to point out some issues. More than the nominal value of financial resources available to municipalities, we should see where this money comes from. For example, what is the taxing power of local governments, so that we make them accountable for results. Actually, municipalities in Albania are highly dependent on central government from an administrative point of view and from a financial point of view. If we leave aside the political influences, which are particularly strong in the case of Albania, policymakers need to rethink decentralizations in Albania in all its dimensions, especially the financial one. That means that we have to have a clear assignment of competencies and adequate financial resources commensurate with the cost of public services to be delivered.
Sorry to interrupt you, Merita. How can MFSA help in that?
We, using the MFSA, we have some early signaling of what municipalities should expect in the case such a crisis like COVID-19 could hit the country. Municipalities were shown that their revenues were going down. So they had to take measures in order to face the level of expenditure they had projected. So municipalities revised their plans, their procurement plans, prioritized expenditures, cut some investment which were deemed not essential, let's say, and try to minimize the losses from this crisis. The idea is that we have the simple tool that we can use to see what the impact of any major event could be at local finances, so that they can take measures in time and implement these measures in time to minimize the negative effects.
So can we use the MFSA to make scenarios and simulations on all what you said?
Yes. So yes, that's what we did. Yeah.
So that's what you did for your municipalities in Shkodër.
Yeah, we used it in Shkodër, which was as a case study, let's say, and then to extend it to other municipalities. It's a very simple tool when you can make your own assumptions based on the specific of the municipality, obviously, because all municipalities are different and can be impacted differently. And it presents the necessary flexibility to account for all these specificities and make, let's say, it's like it's a universal tool, but allows for specifications for each municipality and take measures in advance.
Thank you very much, Merita. Thank you very much. So the bottom line is, Nalas, guys, you have this tool and you can make it to spread it all around so that anyone can use it, because as Merita said, it's flexible, it's complex, but in the end, it's flexible enough to use it for any kind of aspects that are related to the municipal finances. Would you like to issue municipality bonds? Would you like to use it as early warning tools? Would you like to use it for rapid analysis to absorb some shocks? Would you like to make some priorities in your capital investment plan? You name it. Guys, I'm checking out. I would like to thank you all for listening, and Stefan, I think floor is yours back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marian. So that was a rough ride. So apologies to all our speakers and experts that we are pushing you to be short and concise, but so we have so many success stories. So we have so many instruments to share that we would like to give you a good overview, and we know where to find in the future also all the information concerning the tools. So there is one aspect which was not covered yet in the MFSA and the urban planning, but which is very important, and that's the aspect of citizens' engagement in the Balkans, Europe, and Central Asia. And Sandra, I'm handing directly over to you so that you can take the floor and enlighten us a little bit about citizens' engagement as one important factor in this formula of success.
Thank you, Stefan, and welcome everyone. My name is Sandra Ktolski. I'm really grateful to have this possibility to participate at this closing event, as I'm with UPP from the beginning, so I have very fond memories of the past years. And as you all know for sure, citizen engagement has been a really solid pillar of the UPP. And for several years, we have been discussing opportunities how to make the urban audit and the MFSA more participatory. And we had citizen engagement consultations in Skopje in 2019. And from then, UPP has supported a citizen report card exercise in Macedonia, in the municipality Gazibaba. And I have now this great opportunity to interview two persons who have been very closely involved in the citizen report card. It is the head of sector for local economic development from the municipality Gazibaba, Sasha Trajkov, and Vesna Garvanlieva. She's a senior economist at the Center for Economic Analysis. She actually implemented the citizen report card. So welcome to Sasha and Vesna. If you could please show your video and unmute yourself. Hi, Vesna.
Hi.
Hi, nice to see you. Is Sasha here as well?
Hi.
Ah, great. Hi, Sasha.
Greetings from Skopje, Macedonia.
Hi, welcome both of you. So I have prepared a couple of questions, and I would like to ask my first question to Sasha. Why did the municipality Gazibaba in Northern Macedonia want to do the citizen report card? Could you just in a few minutes tell us more about that?
Okay, shortly and briefly, I will give the insight of the audience for our experience. Okay, the municipality of Gazibaba has a long tradition of interaction with its inhabitants, with a combination of different instruments and tools in the process of interaction. For example, we are using the budget forums, we are using the project forums, and also in the process of preparing the strategic documents, we are also preparing the forum for the strategic planning. In the period, we have been in that period when we have start with the process of citizen engagement instrument, we have been in the process of preparing the new strategic document for the new strategic period 2025. And we have used different, in that process, we have used different research instruments and statistical data, of course, for different strategic areas. And always in the MGB, inhabitants are the main cornerstone. In our strategic documents, even we are characterized as an industrial municipality in the city of Skopje and in the Macedonia. And because of our huge experience in the implementation of MFSA and urban audit, we are the pioneers. We are starting the process from the beginning. We have generated a lot of analytical data, which provide us, the opportunity to lead that process. But always, we are always open for incorporation of the new tool instruments, which will give us another perception from the field and from the inhabitants. Therefore, we have choose to start the implementation of this citizen engagement instruments as a citizen engagement report card, where focus was the rural communities, where inhabitants will give us their perception about the priorities and needs in the rural communities. By the way, the most of our development challenges are in the rural area of the MGB, and therefore we choose to provide in-depth understanding of the needs and problems of the MGB rural communities with the implementation of the citizen engagement instrument in a few topics. The MGB services, the works we have to dedicate according to our rural inhabitants, the capital investment priorities we have to focus, assessment of the quality of life by their opinion, and why they like or not like MGB. Therefore, we choose to enter this process of preparing the citizen engagement report card.
Thank you, Sasha. Now over to Vesna. So how was the citizen report card actually implemented? What was the process like, Vesna?
Thank you, Sandra. Well, as already Sasha said, we engaged into the citizen report card as a citizen engagement tool in 2019. And just to emphasize that municipality of Gazibaba, on one hand, is highly is urbanized area, part of the city, but another part of the municipality is quite rural that lacks at certain settlements, basic urban infrastructure. So municipality Gazi Baba already knew, of course, by already existing information that they want to engage into the rural settlements and to see first what is the degree of satisfaction of the citizens concerning the public service that they receive from the municipality. And second, what are the priorities in terms of public investments needed in the rural settlements in the municipality. So the process, the tool in itself is constructed methodologically to be very analytical. So this meant a collection of data and information from different sources and through different tools, starting from interviews with different stakeholders, mapping the stakeholders, having noted their priorities and opinion, then directly to focus groups with the community representatives and leaders, then direct interviews face-to-face with the citizens to determine specific settlements priorities, and again joint discussions and meetings to just to be able to complement all the views and the needs.
And what have been the results, Vesna?
Well, this has given us quite some insight for municipality of Gazi Baba. First of all, the citizens of Gazi Baba pointed specifically why they cherish their municipality, because of the characteristics, the diversity that provides the rural area of Gazi Baba. They're quite content and they cherish the rural environment whilst being very close to the dynamic city. So on one hand, they have very calm area where they can live, and on the other hand, they are very close to the urban dynamics of the city. Second, the settlements, different citizens in different settlements have different priorities in terms of what they want to be improved and how they assess the public services. So primarily the priorities of the settlements were either for underground infrastructure or for super infrastructure. So basically, depending on what the specific settlement was missing, they wanted first different new or established sewerage systems where it lacked. Second, improvement of local roads or their maintenance. Third, new facilities for provision of social care services for specifically for new kindergartens where they were missing, and then drinking water system, and at the end improved social life by better facilities for public sports and recreation life of the citizens. So these were the 5 priorities, and of course each of them depended on what was actually missing as an infrastructure for a certain service to be provided.
Thanks, Vesna. And a final one for you. What were the lessons and challenges of the citizen report card exercise?
Well, there were many, but I will pinpoint just a few. First, the citizen report card provides gathering of direct field data. So they were backed up by the citizen opinions. They can be quantified. So it's very difficult for the service providers, which in this case, this is the municipality. They cannot ignore it once they have the data, of course, on paper and analysis. Then what was very interesting, but as a process output, as a side effect, let's say, was the fact that when you talk with citizens directly, first of all, they really stop and think what is the service they're getting and what is the quality of the service they're getting. So they can very aware, they are very aware and can clearly assess how satisfied they are with the service. And again, they become aware that public resources are scarce. So it's not a wish list. So they have to very clearly be specific of what is the priority they need. And of course, there are challenges, but this is not specific to the municipality. This is the distrust within the society and the politicization of the society. which creates this barrier of communication and barrier for citizen participation. But then on the other hand, the citizens were very clear that they prefer active participation in decision making rather than just being served with information. They want a two-way communication rather than just being served with information, selective, let's say.
Thanks, great. So now back to Sasho. Could you now briefly summarize, so what did the municipality Gaziababa do with the results of the citizen report card? You are unmuted, Sasho. Please mute. Unmute.
Okay, before I summarize what we did with the results, I will give shortly, briefly, the results of the citizen engagement participation. On the issue, what is the best MGB services, waste disposal, on the scale of 1 to 10, get 6.15 index, street lighting 6 index, nature protection 5.5, and water supply system 5.2 index. Works we have to dedicate according to our rural inhabitants in percents, 19% wastewater sewage systems, also 19% local roads, and 18% social protection kindergartens, 5% new or reconstruction of the water supply systems, and 4% for infrastructure for sport and recreation. At the issue of the capital investment priorities, according to the rural inhabitants, 56% should go to the wastewater and sewage systems, 13% water supply systems, and 11% education. At the assessment of the quality of life by their opinion, total quality of life, index 5 of 10, total 10, place for family 6 of total 10, place of retirement 5.8, and place for young people 4.4. Why they like or not like MGB? 31% answer that peaceful environment without traffic jam, and 24% clean environment and access to activities in open, and 90% near to the city downtown. Of course, all of these information and results give us a clear picture about what we should do with the results of this citizen engagement report card. Of course, with our experience and analytical approach in the recent 10 years, we have a lot of analytical data, but as a tradition, as a process of transparency and visibility of the process, we need always the interaction and feedback from our citizens, in this case from our rural inhabitants. Therefore, according to the citizen engagement report card, and of course, according to our strategic document, we have focused on the capital investment priorities in the 3 pillars. First one is the sewage systems, water waste sewage system, because it is one of the biggest problem in the rural community. And we already start with the investment process with the 3 projects. As you know, because we have been in the process of the pandemic, we have tried to make a combination of the financial sources. And one of the projects, the project Urumleri, we have finances with the on-landing sub-loan from the World Bank, over the Ministry of Finance. And that project was cost 2.5 million euros for 3,500 inhabitants. The project is planning to finalize in June 2022, but in June 2021, we will have a functional system for the half of the population of the beneficiaries in the village. Also, the project Smilkovci also is the wastewater sewage system with the wastewater treatment plant. This project we have financed from the European funds, and it is cost 650,000 euros for 500 inhabitants. And we are planning to finalize this project in December 2021. We are already in the process of the investment in this project. And also the project Goce Delchev wastewater sewage system. It is financed by our budget sources. And the cost of this project is 1.4 million euros for 2,000 inhabitants. And this project we are planning to be finalized in June 2022. But in May 2021, we will have the functionality for half of the beneficiaries of the population. Also, the second topic from this citizen engagement report was the social protection kindergartens. We have in municipality of Gazibaba, and not only in municipality of Gazibaba, almost in the whole city of Skopje, trouble with the capacity in the kindergarten for the all interests parents for their kids to enroll in the kindergartens. So we have started the process with the construction of the new kindergartens in the rural area of Stajkovci, with the capacity for 150 children, with will in the huge percent satisfy the needs of the parents for the new kindergarten. It will cover 7 rural settlements with almost 15,000 inhabitants. The value of this investment is 850,000 euros, and the opening will be in the September 2021. And this project is also financing with the budget sources.
Thanks, Sasha. So thanks to both of you for this very practical insight into how a citizen report card has shaped the municipality strategy. And I just wanted to reiterate, if there are any questions, please ask in the chat, or there is also later, right after our session, a Q&A with Stefan. And closing this citizen engagement session now, I have prepared just very few slides. I will share my screen now with you. It is about a topic which is covering all of us at the moment. It became so relevant. So it's COVID, and in relation now to citizen engagement. So how can citizen engagement be adopted under COVID? And I have, how can I? Sorry, I can't change the slide.
You have to take the down arrow down button, Sandra. Try that out.
Ah, yes, here we go.
Yeah.
So, so how can citizen engagement be adapted, and how actually do the local governments continue to effectively engage with all these social distancing measures now? And the social distancing really creates a new context for citizen engagement. And to address this challenge, it will be vital for the local governments to blend the traditional engagement with digital solutions. And so meaning that, for example, to contact the citizens directly by cell phone, to have these online trainings, to have virtual meetings and face-to-face meetings, to have smaller face-to-face meetings, or to use purpose-made civic tech spaces and tailored platforms. And I wanted to provide this example today. It is an online platform which was designed, it's open source for free from Citizen Foundation. It's the Your Priority app. And this was now used for many projects in many countries, which the World Bank supports. And actually this portal, also as Marian mentioned before, it helps to prioritize local governments. You can not only share information, you also have a survey tool there. You have village portals, so you can really go to have a local window there and collect feedback from citizens. And responses can be in real time. And you can really interconnect citizen engagement activities. And I will share in the chat now a link how this was implemented in 5 projects in Kyrgyz Republic. And not to forget, most important here with a big exclamation mark is the outreach. So people have to know about this platform. So you really have to raise awareness how to use this portal, how to use a tool like this. And sorry, yeah. So if you as a local government are interested in blending citizen engagement with digital solutions, and this now especially during the COVID restriction, be sure, and this is what really many governments already told us, once you have started, you will not want to stop. Because when citizens are actively engaged in urban planning and finance, they really get more content. And let me provide this link now, and then I will hand over back to Stefan. Thank you.
Good. Sandra, thank you very much. I think that the key message of your intervention showing up the citizens' engagement, and also from Sashko and the other colleague, is we need data. So we need information coming from the different tools which were presented at the very beginning. But we also need this back channel from the citizens, so that we can really check, are we on the right track? How is it perceived among the citizens and other stakeholder groups? And I think that was a very valuable input to understand it's a systems approach. So we need these tools, we need the data, but then we also need this communication back channel with the citizens. And yeah, thank you very much for providing the link to the tool. That is definitely very helpful. And as you said, we have to become more creative in the future to somehow facilitate the dialogue with the citizens and other stakeholders. So right now we would have a very short Q&A intervention. And I had a look at the chat already, and there was already some interaction going on concerning the tools. Because what we heard so far right now, we have a lot of experience, insights, and these tools. And the question is, can municipalities in the region just take the tools and download it from the website, from the observatory, or do they need also guidance from experts, or for example, from other partner cities, like the municipality of Rezen already offered? We are open for partnership. Perhaps one of the experts or colleagues could just give us a very short idea how to make best use of these tools. So can I do it on my own, or do I need guidance and exchange to do that? So perhaps Marian, can I refer to you? Could you give me an idea on that question? Or Sandra?
Mariam, please unmute yourself.
Sorry, Stefan, can you please focus the question? What exactly?
The question is, can I use these tools which were presented on my own as a municipality, or do I need experts and more guidance from other colleagues?
Yes. The answer is yes, everyone can use the tool. I mean, what does it take? It takes determination, clear goal, and clear objective. All resources related to the tools are available. Concretely, with the MFSA, you have NALAS already taken over, and there are some training modules there as well. So anyone can, on its own initiative, can go for it. Now, the real question here behind the question of Stefan is, how much time do you have? I mean, if you have enough time and as a resource, then you can go on and you can master on yourself. But if you're squeezed to a less time, my experience shows that within 1 month, it is possible to work with external expert to guide the municipal administration. But please, again, the determination on the administration is a must. And if you work with peer-to-peer municipality, for example, you would like to use the resources and the experience of municipality that have already implemented the tools, you might do it within 1 to 3 months. But again, it takes for the interested municipality to have a determined administration that will work on the implementation of the tool. Thank you.
So only to add for 1 minute, if we talk about this in a citizen engagement platform, it is open source, so you can really download it. And if you have somebody who is familiar with IT, it can happen in the local government that somebody administered this platform. And there's also a service level agreement. This can be set up for minimal cost, and developing supports countries to do that. So please reach out.
Perfect. That's good to know. Thank you very much, Sandra. Thank you very much, Marian. So it depends on the level of ambition. Don't aim too high, but you can definitely use the tools on your own, download the open source software for the citizens engagement platform. And then again, I would like to refer to Kristen. he already offered, please contact me or our municipality, where we are happy to have this exchange. And we will stick together as a group. And we have NALAS and the observatory that will help you also to make best benefit of these tools and the process descriptions. So I'm looking in the direction of my colleague Tamara. Have you spotted any further questions or comments on the chat? Perhaps we can take one more comment or question.
There are no more questions in the chat, but maybe somebody would like to ask it now, or we can leave it after the presentation, the last part.
Perhaps then we take right now, because we're a little bit behind the time. So let's move on. And we have one further interaction, and we call that the Finance Expert Roundtable. I would call it a speed dating, because right now our colleagues have the opportunity or the challenge to make one statement within 1 minute. And the question or the thing which we're going to discuss is the reflection on local government finance in the Western Balkans. And we're looking into the future, and we're going to get one statement on the challenges and the opportunities in the upcoming year. So now we are leaving the present, we are leaving the past, and let's look 12 months into the future. So which challenges do you have on your table? And we have invited experts that served already in the UPP program, but also representatives from local government associations. And I would like to give a floor to our first colleague from Albania, Merita Tosca. Merita, you have right now the chance to act as a role model and to give a very short input from your side. What do you expect is coming up in the next 12 months? So which challenges and which opportunities do you see?
The challenge is to survive this difficult year first. And the opportunity is that we should think a little bit of the position and collaboration between central and local government. A key point is real fiscal decentralization. If we continue devolving new functions and competencies to local government without properly financing these competencies, we'll be in the situation of unfunded mandates, and local governments will be never able to respond to their citizens with services, and also to be resilient in case of natural disasters or situations like COVID-19. So for me, real decentralization is the key topic for 2021.
Good. Thank you very much, Merita. So you were the perfect role model for a short and precise statement, and you made it clear now and for the future we need this decentralization and proper funding so to fulfill the role of the municipalities. Perfect. Thank you very much. So let's move on to Bosnia and Herzegovina, and we have Brankica Lenic and Goran Rakic. And I would start with our female colleague, Brankica. So you are from the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. So what do you expect for the upcoming 12 months? So where do you see the challenges and the opportunities? Do we have Brankica with us? Don't see her right now. Then I would refer to Goran. Goran Rakic. I see your name here on my screen. Goran, you have to unmute yourself, take the floor. So which challenges do you perceive for the local government association of the Republika Srpska?
Brankica has some audio issues.
Okay. Good, but we are flexible enough. I think one of the opportunities and challenges will be flexibility, as we are also doing it today online. So then let's move on to Croatia. to Dario Runtic, and you're coming from the local government associations.
Goran is here.
Goran,
is here.
good. Goran, your turn.
Tu sam, izvinjavam se zbog malih tehničkih problema.
Apologize for this the small technical problems. Would like to greet all of the participants for the participation during this last 10 years. And we are really grateful to World Bank and for the opportunity of our municipality to participate and to learn a lot. I would like to talk a little bit about our project and that our local governments have the possibility to gain additional knowledge. And as previous speakers from Republika Srpska said, there are things that are not defined by law, but still the local government started to use it thanks to this MFSA tool. I'm talking about the capital investment plan, which is not obligatory, but we're using it.
Yeah.
I would like to stress
Goran, because we are lacking a little bit the time right now. So a description of your project and your journey would be very interesting, but I would like you to answer just one question. So what do you think will be the biggest challenge for you in the next 12 months? So let's have a view into the future and just 1 minute short reflection on that.
Ok, 1 minut vezano za budućnost. Najveći izazov sigurno je suočavanje sa...
The biggest challenge is facing the consequences of COVID. Fortunate situation where we have a big disparity in municipalities. We have small municipalities and cities from 250,000 citizens.
opštinama. Nažalost, Republika Srpska kao država će se morati dodatno zadužiti, što će ujedno uticati i na budžete lokalnih samouprava, jer prema našoj metodologiji za raspodjelu sredstava od PDV-a, koji predstavlja nekih 70 do 80% sredstava u jedinicama lokalne samouprave, znači prvo se otplaćuje spoljašnji dug, pa tek onda se taj ostatak dijeli ka jedinicama lokalne samouprave. Svijetao je primjer grada Banja Luke koja je nastavila sa kapitalnim izdvajanjima, znači, odnosno nisu zaustavili kapitalne projekte na području svoje lokalne samouprave, ali svakako ove manje opštine morat će da razmisle o nekim dodatnim izvorima finansiranja, a prije svega mislim tu treba da se osnovi na vlastite izvore, odnosno vlastita sredstva. Kod nas je u toku reforma poreza na nepokretnosti koja treba da pređe u nadležnost od administratiranja jedinica lokalne samouprave i tu vidim posebnu priliku za sve jedinice lokalne samouprave da u tom segmentu dobiju dodatna sredstva. Hvala.
Good. Thank you very much for this statement, Goran. So there will be a lot of work for you for the local government association to do and to advocate the position of the municipalities and the Republika Srpska. Thank you very much. Dario, you are already lining up here on my screen. You're the next one. Same question to you. So which opportunities do you see? Which challenges are ahead?
Hi, Stefan.
Well, you know, challenges and opportunities are often go hand in hand. So one of the first challenges and opportunities we're going to see are local elections in May. But considering the fact that last year local governments had a significant impact on their resources, around 7% of the Adriatic, and urban local governments have been also more impacted than rural. We're looking into tourism recovery as a means to address the funding levels of Adriatic urban local governments, and also the EU's funding for recovery and resilience is one of the probably key sources that will either make or break the recovery and resilience of local governments in next couple of years.
Good. Thank you very much, Dario. So recovery is on your agenda very much. So count me in. I will come to Croatia and support and contribute to the touristic recovery very soon. Thank you very much.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you. I'm wondering if we have a delegate or colleagues from Kosovo with us from AKM or any other organization.
Stefan, we also have Mr. Gregor, who will be speaking instead of Ms. Brankica.
Okay, Mr. Gregor, then I hand over directly to you.
Dobar dan, pozdrav svima iz sunčane Bosne i Hercegovine. Što se tiče Federacije BiH, mi se također suočavamo, naše lokalne zajednice, općine i gradovi se također suočavamo s velikim padom prihoda. Ja sam osobno pisao jednu analizu koja obuhvaća odnosno utjecaj pandemije koronavirusa na lokalne zajednice, općine i gradove svih 80 u prvoj polovini 2020. godine u odnosu na prvu polovinu 2019. godine i tu je primjetan pad od 27 milijuna km, što je ekvivalentno proračunu godišnjem proračunu jedne srednje razvijene općine. To je otprilike 5,91% pad u odnosu u prvoj polovini 2020. u odnosu na prvu polovinu 2019. Što se tiče prilika i šansi, najveća prilika u ovom slučaju bi bila povećati otpornost jedinica lokalne samouprave. Interesantno, analiza je pokazala da su razvijenije jedinice lokalne samouprave pretrpjele oštri, akutni pad u odnosu na nerazvijene jedinice lokalne samouprave, što se vrlo lako može objasniti većim intenzitetom gospodarske aktivnosti u većim i razvijenijim općinama i gradovima. Samim time trebalo bi uložiti dodatne napore da se izbalansiraju razlike između općina i gradova, što bi svakako mogla postići centralna, odnosno u našem slučaju federativna transfera. Također događalo se da zbog izostanka reakcije viših razina vlasti jedinice lokalne samouprave su morale uskakati sa ekonomskim intervencijskim mjerama i financirati minimalne i neto plaće radnicima kojima je onemogućen ili obustavljen rad zbog restriktivnih mjera, tako da bi jača distinkcija, odnosno jasnija podjela nadležnosti bila također jedno rješenje. Hvala vam.
Good. Thank you very much, Gregor. Again, we see the close link also to the assessment tools and all the data which we are collecting. You said there's a huge drop in revenues. Right now, we have to somehow take these figures and plan into the future and apply these tools properly. You're absolutely right. So I'm moving on to Montenegro, and there I have the pleasure to give Natasha Obradovic the chance also to reflect shortly on the opportunities and perhaps also the problems which you are facing in Montenegro and the municipalities there. Natasha.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for giving me a chance to speak about the Montenegro situation. Let me just explain that Montenegro is the country that is facing the highest drop in GDP, in economic activity due to COVID crisis. It was 15.2% of GDP that was a drop in last year due to COVID crisis, and we are still struggling with pandemic in a way, although the IMF is projecting 9% of the development in this year. We are still struggling and facing a lot of challenges and issues regarding the pandemic. So basically what I see the most challenges will be for local governments as well as national government is to ensure in one hand local economic development, to boost the economy somehow, to provide, stimulate these small and medium businesses, to stimulate employment, to ensure efficiency of local public companies. How to do it? What we learned from the COVID crisis is one hand that we knew we have to find new flow of investments in order to get foreign investments, to get investors to invest in Montenegro. We have this tool, which we call MFSA, which provides transparency in the budget, the whole transparency, accountability of the budget figures, which could be used as a tool to present your figures to the investors and to ensure that investors are comfortable with your credit worthiness. On the other hand, what I see as a very important thing is regionalization and cooperation, sharing of experiences, and learning from each other. That's one thing. And of course, in order to ensure growth, we have to have the capital cities taking the lead, because the cities that show that how to fight the pandemic, how to ensure that economic activity grows, those cities should be a role model. Why am I saying this? I just need to say that I think that digitalization and cybersecurity, as well as these digital platforms that we talked about, are the source of information and data in the future. We will rely on that more than on the office space, because we will work more remotely. What I would give as a good example from Montenegro is our capital city ensuring that more green spaces are provided, that pedestrians have more space, more social distancing ensured, and also more cycling. So I think we are heading towards green economy, addressing climate change, and I think we need to ensure that the green jobs are also covered in this year and in the years to come.
Thank you very much, Natasha. That was a strong statement. So you're already taking up points which we're also going to discuss during the next 2 days in terms of sustainable regional and local economic development, in terms of digital and greener investments. And I liked also your idea, we have to cooperate now. So we were talking about it since many years. Now cooperation is the only chance to survive and to get back on track in the future. Thank you very much. So we're going right now to North Macedonia. Marian Nikolov. Marian, we already saw you on the screen. You were facilitating already, but also from your perspective. So what's up in the next 12 months?
Three things. Number one, review of fiscal decentralization in Macedonia, and here most important and negative effect is the political economy, meaning that the municipalities are looking more to get more money from the central government, rather than to ask the question of the unfunded mandates they have and how to fund the mandates they already have. Number two, risk management in the municipalities, but apart from the mandatory preparation of the strategies, but rather to bring in experts in preparation of risk strategies. And number three, the connection of municipalities and consolidation with the communal enterprises and increasing more efficiency and cost-related tariffs. That's from Macedonia.
3 points, easy to remember. Thank you very much, Marian, for the North Macedonian perspective. So we are coming to Serbia, and I would like to invite Aleksandra Brankovic also to share your main points in terms of opportunities and challenges for the next year.
Hello, everyone. I hope you hear me. I enjoyed today's sessions, and I will try to be brief. I would prefer to be positive and talk more about possibilities, short on challenges. We have not seen that huge and dire impact of pandemic on local finances in Serbia so far, thanks mainly to the proper prioritization of spending on the local level, and of course mitigating measures and additional transfers from the central level. I do not expect to see any major challenges in the next year unless the macroeconomic situation deteriorates substantially, but hopefully this will not happen. Talking about opportunities, I think that one good thing the pandemic showed us is the importance of being flexible and the importance of anticipating the future. So I think that one opportunity is to continue with this and to use more flexibility in the future and more some forward-looking approach and planning, more midterm planning at the local level. I think that's what we were missing in local finances mostly. And another opportunity I see in Serbia related to local finances is related to the initiated reform of the system of local governments. One of the topics would of course be local financing. I hope that some good conclusions and new good measures related to mainly to better management of capital investment and to better planning of in the midterm, and also to better improvement in the collection of local revenues would be some of the results of these reforms. So that's very short from me.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. Thank you for staying positive, even though we might have some clouds in the sky. So there will be sun, and right now we have to do the homework, use the tools, and not only just look backwards, but also to have this strategic foresight into the future to be well prepared. So last but not least, Elton. So I would like also to invite you from the NALA's perspective. You are right now taking over in the observatory, all the data, all the tools. So what do you expect as opportunities right now, having all these tools, having also the expertise in the region? So what is on your agenda for the next 12 months?
Thank you, Stefan. Well, I'll try to summarize. It's not easy, but I think that the common denominator that all the colleagues mentioned earlier, and what we have found out throughout this 1 year plus of challenge, is that the recovery, the main challenge facing local governments and national governments, it's the social and economic recovery, and from our perspective, also the recovery of local government finance. The local government finance have been under a severe strain over the past 1 year and let's say a couple of months, and we definitely that needs to be addressed. So from this perspective, this crisis also creates an opportunity to address some older problems in terms of fiscal decentralization reforms, in terms of local revenue management, in terms of unfunded mandates and intergovernmental transfers. So the problems that we're facing right now, most of them, they are not new actually, it's just the crisis exacerbated them and then brought them more to light. So let's use this as an opportunity to address some of these older problems, but also as an opportunity to be creative and adaptive and look at that local government finance management from the revenue or expenditure perspective in a more creative and adaptive way, so that we can really move on with maybe also new projects that look at smarter and a greener and a more sustainable recovery. And from this perspective, I would say the second point, what is needed the most, besides additional resources, is also, I think, intergovernmental dialogue, consultation, but most importantly, cooperation between the different levels of government to make sure that we adapt the resources that we have and we put them to the best use. And from this perspective, the local governments and also local government associations are the only ones that can actually feed this dialogue with the relevant information to make sure that these national recovery plans, where they exist, are really targeting the local needs, priorities, but also opportunities. So from this perspective, I would say that the local government associations, they have a huge role, and they also need to be supported in this role. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elton, and thank you very much already taking over a little summary role of all what was said. And you're absolutely right, reinforcing dialogue between central government and local government. That's somehow also the binding element between all the different statements. And we're also going to discuss the next few days on these topics on the different events and side events of the General Assembly of NALAS and other workshops which are upcoming the next few days. So at this point, we would like to close the expert input. So one more thing is missing. So we said we have to evaluate, and we are using also the data to evaluate, are we on track? We are using the back channel from the citizens engagement to capture some ideas and feedbacks from citizens. Right now, we are doing the same using our tool, which was already introduced at the very beginning, the Mentimeter. And I'm handing over to Tamara right now, because we would like to collect also some feedback and input from your side. And Tamara, so you can start doing your magic with the Mentimeter.
Thank you, Stefan. I just shared again in the chat in case you didn't or you closed maybe the first part when you actually clicked on the link. So you have in the chat Menti www.menti.com. The code is 76028294, or you can just click to the later link, and then it will take you to the Mentimeter. So we have the questions for you, and some of you already started to fill in the next one. So the next, I hope you see this. The next question for you would be, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear MFSA? So we have already some people answering this question, and as we can see here, there are plenty of common words that you are putting in. So we have projections, we have finance, we have financial assessment, transparency, decentralization, responsibility, financial assessment, management, teamwork, fiscal adjustments, transparency, I said already. And it's very nice to see these words, and you're actually first words that come to your mind when you hear about MFSA. The transparency is definitely maybe the biggest word, or the biggest let's say thing that you think about when you hear MFSA. But while you were entering your answers, still I just wanted to say that Elton put the link to the tool in the chat, if in case you didn't see it during the session. Maybe you can just go there and just please consider that you will need the password and the login name. So for that, NALAS is going to provide you with information. And also there was a question in the chat that if these tools can be used no matter for the smaller size municipalities, and then the answer was, of course, any size of the local self-government can use these tools, and it can be very successful actually for both small and bigger municipalities. Okay, so because we are running out of time, I'm going to go to the next question, and you will see it soon in your places where you are entering, and there are somebody obviously that already entered the answers. So please rate the following statements about MFSA. The first statement is, we found MFSA tool very useful for our LSG, and then you can actually scale it. You have a strongly disagree and you have strongly agree. The second statement is, we were able to identify recommendations for local self-government finance improvements by analyzing MFSA data. And the last one is, I would recommend a colleague to use MFSA. And we can see that all of your, let's say, ratings are really high. We are happy to hear this and to see this, of course. And we hope that, of course, you will continue to use MFSA, and that you will share this information with other local self-governments, and who can actually approach NALAS and use these tools and also not only NALAS, but also you as some of the municipalities that used this tool previously. I will give you some more seconds, not minutes, seconds for you to fill in. Okay, thank you. And then the last question would be, what are your main takeaways from our conference? This was really insightful final conference, I would say. Unfortunately, it had to be in this electronic format, online format. But I think that we heard so many experiences and people who actually had very good experiences and information to share with us from many different points of views. And I will ask you to fill in, so I will read them how they are coming. Friendship with colleagues, sharing experience and being able to learn. Yes, thank you. This is also probably from the whole project, the UPP project, the information. New opportunity. Great opportunity to share experience and learning from each other. The tool is fully available for use with accompanying support through analysis, networking. Nice to see several countries sharing common approaches, acknowledging common challenges. Opportunity for re-cooperation, exchange for experiences, ideas to move forward. It was a good experience and served us to learn during our project. Sorry, it goes a bit slow. Practice, sorry. Knowledge and experience sharing and taking positive side for what is to come. Opportunity to re-cooperation, exchange of experiences, sharp presentation and short good cases of MFSA. Yes, it was really sharp presentations. Policy making needs data. It was very interesting to hear the experiences from other countries, especially in pandemic circumstances, while we are all separated and distanced from each other. Looking forward for this further cooperation and events. Great tool to use in other regions of Europe as well, inspirational. Okay, thank you. You can keep on posting and you can keep on writing to our final question, because this is the final question on the Menti. So maybe Stefan, if you would like to wrap it up, and we can slowly go to the next part of the today's day. Perfect. Good. If you unshare your screen, Tamara, yes, then I can see all the little pictures of our participants. Perhaps we can just ask you right now to turn on the camera. So whoever is able right now to switch on the camera, because then we could also have a family photo. As we had it in our previous events, we had these nice photos standing in front of the conference hotel. So today we have to do it virtually, but please switch on your camera, and one of my colleagues will do some screenshots of all your faces, backgrounds, and contributions, and then we will share that with you after this conference. I think to summarize, we all heard it's not the end of a joint experience, but it will enter into a new phase. So after 10 years, so we're getting to a point where we hand over right now to NALAS, to the observatory, the tools, the experiences, and also all the contacts to the experts. And I think we all have a mandate right now to make best use of the available tools. And I would like you to appoint you, everyone here, as an ambassador of the UPP and the tools of the MFSA, of the urban audit, of the citizens engagement tools which Sandra presented. So make some advertisement for these tools, point out to the website
of the NALAS Observatory and share the good practice among your colleagues, because then it really becomes powerful if you are giving a hint to these tools. So you have all a new position, ambassador of these tools and functions. And perhaps I can speak on behalf also of the participants. I'm just acting right now as a spokesperson. We would like to thank you, the World Bank, the whole team, to accompany the process since 2010. So to give insights, to always bring in motivation, always bring in a realistic perspective, because we also heard you can't do it over one night, but you have to set clear goals and define your ambitions. And that was very helpful, Tamara and also Katrine. So always to be realistic, but very motivating. We thank you very much for that. So we would also like to say thank you to the Swiss government, to the Swiss Confederation, also supporting today's event and the long journey. And definitely we would like to say thank you also to NALAS, right now taking over and acting as a knowledge broker in the region and beyond, because this shouldn't be just exclusive knowledge for the Western Balkans, but there are many more municipalities and LGAs that can take benefit from that. Last point. It's also not over for today and for the next 3 days. As I already mentioned, we will have tomorrow the NALAS General Assembly with a very special event, the statutory meeting and the inauguration of the new NALAS president. That will be an exciting event. And then we will also discuss additional topics, which were already stressed in some of your statements, concerning reinforcing the dialogue between the different entities, stakeholders, and government levels. That will be important, and definitely the local economic development. So resilience was already mentioned, and then so how to become greener, how to become more digital in terms of investments and economic development in the region. That will be an important topic as well. So then we have one more thing, the Women Mayors Association's meeting. That will be also important to also build this network, to take it further and to prepare these activities for the future. You see, there will be a lot of inputs waiting for you in the upcoming 3 days. So looking at the time, we're almost perfect. We said at 1:40, it would be great to finish. Thank you very much for your attendance. And I had a look, we were maximum 160 participants in between. So I think that's a great success. There is a lot of interest among the participants. Share the good news, share the tools, and we will see each other again, I'm very sure, in person or online. So we will find a way. Thank you very much.